2020 is finally over.
Oh my God, what can we say about 2020?
It's been a pretty crazy year across the world dealing with this whole pandemic. It's really, I don't know, brought everyone kind of to their knees in some ways.
Yeah, but sometimes it's good to stop and really think about what have you done, because sometimes it's not everything so bad. And that's something that we have realized now that we were sitting and looking back of what we've done this year. And that's why we wanted to share this with you.
Yeah, surprisingly, it's actually been a big year of travel for us, although all within Canada, of course. And it started off, I mean, COVID wasn't really a thing at the beginning of the year. So at that point, we were really into doing like winter adventures. And it was the first time we actually got to experience winter kind of across the country instead of just here in Alberta.
So of course we live in Calgary, and the Rocky Mountains are very popular and very beautiful to see during the winter. So we actually, as usual, we went to ski in the different ski resorts.
So there's 3 ski resorts within Banff National Park, Sunshine, Norquay, and Lake Louise. My favorite is Lake Louise.
And for me, Sunshine, but it doesn't matter because all of them offer amazing views. But also we got to go back to Banff, the town of Banff, which is very pretty either way, so we don't get tired of going back. But we experienced one of their winter festivals, Banff Snow Days.
Yeah, this is a really cool time to go because not only is well, it's just like more lively. There's lots of restaurants participating with special drinks they create for the festival. There's an outdoor event where you can try little samples from various restaurants, including the drinks. People are skating on the outdoor rink. I think there was free skate rentals actually.
You see some snow sculptures, and at the same time, there's another festival nearby in Lake Louise called
Ice Magic Festival,
which is very cool to see because, oh my God, it's amazing the pieces of art that these people can do with the ice.
Yeah, these artists come from all over the world, and it's sometimes interesting to see, like sometimes they're from the Philippines, and I always wonder, how do they get into ice carving there?
Yeah, right?
But yeah, they're all amazing, and of course it's made even more spectacular by the surrounding scenery of Lake Louise.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's an awesome time to go for sure.
And then we finally made it to one of the festivals that we really wanted to experience, the Winter Carnival in Quebec. But as we were looking into that, we realized that Winterlude in Ottawa happens just a few weeks or a week before Winter Carnival.
It's kind of around the same time. Like Winterlude is a month-long festival that kind of takes place on the weekends. But we decided, I think the distance between Ottawa and Quebec City is about 5 or 6 hours, with Montreal in the middle. So it's actually a great little road trip that we turned it into. So we started off in Ottawa and we stayed right downtown. And Ottawa in general, it's pretty.
It's a very pretty
time,
city.
Especially like seeing Parliament Hill in the distance surrounded by snow. But Winterlude was cool as well. It's, I think, a little more designed for families.
So it's cool to see, and I always say that winter really change every landscape. Like whether you're looking at the mountains or even cities, it just gives you a different experience, and the Parliament looks very pretty with the snow.
Yeah, and then we even got to go to our favorite spa in the winter time there, which was cool because it's you know, as long as you have hot springs around you, the winter's not so bad.
Yeah, so we went to Thermia, which is Matthew's favorite place in the world.
Yeah, well, there it's not called Thermia, it's called Nordic Spa and Nature. But their other brand, Thermia's in Winnipeg.
That's right.
But then we went on a road trip, so we went on our way to Montreal to see family. We actually stopped at a place called Park Omega and spent the night with wolves.
Yeah, which is pretty cool. It's kind of a safari where you go in your car to see different animals, which are pretty much native to Canada.
It's like elk and caribou and things like that. And the deer actually come right up to your window
because
and eat carrots.
Yeah, you buy a bag of carrots, so they know that, and they really are all around your car.
They love those carrots, that's for sure. But definitely the biggest memory for us was spending the night in one of their wolf cabins. And basically these cabins open up. Your whole patio window in front of your bed is where all the wolves stay.
You're so close to them, like this close, but with a glass in the middle of you.
You can really see the details of their eyes.
Oh, I know, it's amazing. And listening to them howling, oh my God, it's super cool.
And then of course we went to Quebec City for the Winter Carnival. And this is the second biggest winter festival in the world, but definitely the biggest in North America. And it's quite the experience. Like, I mean, first of all, it's right outside the walled city, which in itself is so beautiful to see in the wintertime. But then they have a massive parade and all kinds of games and ice castles and food and drink. And
yeah, it was so cool, and we were very excited to try this toboggan, which is actually pretty old. It's been running since the 1800s, and it's really cool, eh?
Yeah.
You really go super fast.
It's right beside the Fairmont too, so you get the cool view of the hotel and the cool view of the river.
And over here in the east of Canada, we got to experience a different kind of winter, because here in Alberta, winters are a little bit more dry, while over there they're humid. So it seems that the cold goes through your bones, and it was actually pretty cold when we were there.
Yeah.
It was -30.
That was the only unfortunate part. It was one of their coldest ones ever, and you're outside and in -30, I don't know, you'd have to have some pretty good clothes to stay warm.
Yeah, for sure. But then we experienced even colder weather when we went to New Brunswick.
Yeah, so New Brunswick was kind of an interesting place to go for winter. And what attracted us there was in Plaster Rock, a really small town, has the world's largest pond hockey tournament, which is just such a Canadian thing.
And not many people have heard of this.
No, it's really big. It attracts up to 120 teams, and they built something, I think it's 40 rinks on this little pond, and it's really well done. Like, these teams come from all over the world. We had teams competing from
Czech Republic,
the Cayman Islands,
Yugoslavia,
the US, of course.
And then when you see the board of all the countries that have been there, oh my God, there's so many countries that have participated in years before.
Yeah, it's a pretty cool event, and a lot of skilled hockey players there. I entered a team. We actually found 4 people that I hadn't met before in Calgary. They flew over, and yeah, we did pretty good at the beginning, but we didn't realize, like, we lost our first playoff game, and once we saw the gold medal game, you could really see like some talent.
And Matthew realized how good of a wife I am, because I was there cheering in -40 on a frozen lake.
Holding the camera, recording us.
Yeah, but it was cool to see, I must say. I also enjoyed it quite a bit.
And another interesting thing too about New Brunswick at that time was that was the first time I started hearing about COVID.
Oh, yes.
It's just weird to think back now. It was February, and I remember a friend was like, "Oh, watch out for the COVID on the plane," and he was kind of half kidding, and I was like, "What are you talking about?" And pretty much a month later is when it kind of went into lockdown here.
Yeah, and all our projects got cancelled. We were supposed to go to the Yukon, back to Newfoundland,
BC, even New England and the US.
know,
Yeah, we had lots of cool projects lined up.
But anyway, sometimes people say that when some doors close, other ones open, which was true, because that forced us to explore even deeper into our home province.
So I figured with the lockdown, obviously you could still travel around within your own province. So we reached out to these smaller communities, and it was pretty cool. We started off with David Thompson region, which is right beside the Icefields Parkway. So it's actually right in between the Icefields Parkway and Cowboy Trail. So it's a very beautiful area in the mountains, a lot more secluded than, say, Banff, but still home to like some crazy beautiful scenery.
Yeah, waterfalls. We got to go rock climbing on the Via Ferrata, which it just makes it safer, and then you don't need to be experienced, and you get amazing views of Abraham Lake.
And that was like one of the hottest days of our summer, I think, when we were up there. So it really looked like that lake was just like shining
super
blue,
nice.
Turquoise colors.
And also we got to experience some indigenous activities as we partnered with
the Indigenous Tourism Association of Canada,
which is something that we've been looking forward for a long time, because we really want to experience more of the indigenous culture here in Canada. So we got to learn about some of the plants in the Kananaskis, how to start a fire, and all that cool stuff.
Then we went to a little town called Sundre, which is right on the Cowboy Trail. We had passed through it before, but we had never stopped. And that was pretty cool as well, because I find in small towns you really get to meet more of the locals. And they come out to share their story with you. But of course, we also got to experience a lot of outdoor adventure there. Like, one thing that really stands out is the wild horses.
Oh my God, they are everywhere, and they're like in packs of 12, and they're so pretty.
Running, and you see kind of the dust, it's like a really cool experience. We went to like whitewater rafting, but probably the one that stands out is we went on a side-by-side. It's kind of like ATVing, but they brought us right out into the mountains, so we got like to go up really steep cliffs.
I know, Matthew, thanks goodness, he's a very good driver.
Yeah, it's funny when
because this was a steep hill.
even when we got up there, he was like, I was gonna wave to say like not to come, but you had already started, so.
Yeah, he did pretty good. And then of course we went horseback riding, which I also enjoy a lot. And then we went to another part of Alberta, which is also kind of famous. It's called the Crowsnest Pass, which I call a place of tragedy.
Yeah, it's in like southern Alberta. It's also in the Rocky Mountains, but it's, even though it's known a lot for outdoor adventure, but also like a really kind of tragic history with coal mining. So there's lots of coal mines there. You can actually go on a tour into one of them. But probably the most famous, I guess, thing to see there is the Frank Slide. So that's where part of the mountain actually came down on the town way back in the early 1900s, I believe.
And as far as I remember, that was also the hardest hike I've ever done.
Yeah, we decided to hike up Turtle Mountain around the side, of course, the same mountain that fell.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's pretty...
It was an adventure because we got lost like for 4 hours. And then it got super late. We came back in darkness. Yeah, I was crying at the end. And I guess also because we thought that the hike was gonna be just like 3 hours and it was actually 5. Plus the 4 that we got lost, and his parents were waiting for us in the cabin.
And just, we weren't really prepared for night hiking. So we didn't really have a flashlight other than the phone. And you kind of like, it is the Rocky Mountains. So there's like cougars and bears and wolves. And
yeah, you just think
again, they can see you.
But you cannot see them.
So, but that was an awesome trip as well. We learned a lot about history there. And then another cool thing was we got to go up north to Lac La Biche.
Also, another town that I've never heard about it before. I don't know if you have.
It's a pretty small town in northern Alberta. Pretty much it's home to a lot of beautiful lakes. That's what lac means in French. And we got to experience some cool things.
Yeah, we learned about that they have the biggest Lebanese community in all of Canada. Well, per capita. That like all the French communities, they have a lot of influence of French. That's why Lac La Biche.
A lot of indigenous as well.
Yes. We also learned about some indigenous art. We went to Portage College, which we had an amazing tour, and we learned so much about the grade 7.
Yeah, I think it's the grade 7.
We'll
put it in the description, but yeah, they're kind of the ones that help to get indigenous art recognized as fine art in Canada. And it really is. It's
pretty amazing. And one of our highlights, since we love adventures, was quadding into the backcountry. It was the first time that I quad, and oh my god, I really like it. At the beginning I was a little bit nervous, but oh my god, it's so much fun.
And we went pretty far into the woods too, like a good 4 or 5 hours, but it's nice when you have people with you who know what they're doing. Because she got stuck once. So.
Oh yeah, I know.
She needed us to help, but then after Lac La Biche, we were already kind of halfway to where I grew up in Fort McMurray. So we decided to go up to visit some family there and to make a video about my life kind of growing up in Fort Mac. So that was cool, not only to relive some of those memories, but also to see it after the fire. Because I hadn't been back for like 6 or 7 years, and in that time there was one of, I think, the largest natural disaster in Canadian history.
So it was very cool to learn how Matthew grew up, so different from growing up in a bigger city, and even more different than growing up from Mexico City.
And I brought her to the 2 lakes where my dad and I used to go fishing.
Oh,
that was cool to see again.
Yeah, and in the middle of all these projects during the summer, we were working on a very big project, which was the renovation of the place that we are right now.
Yeah, so we finally moved into our apartment that's almost in downtown Calgary, and the COVID kind of forced us to move in here. But then we decided to renovate it, but had very little time. So it took the whole summer, but now we're here, and it was kind of cool. We got to move in around October.
Yeah, so it's been nice, and we enjoy our place.
Yeah, so even though like 2020 has obviously been very crappy in many ways, and obviously some people have had much even worse times with it, but for us there's definitely been some good things that have come out of it.
So I invite you to maybe take a moment and reflect on how your 2020 has been.
Yeah, we'd love for you to actually share with us in the comments how 2020 has been for you.
And if you like this video, give us a thumbs up.
Hit that subscribe button. Leave us a comment, of course. Visit our website at mustdocanada.com. And actually, we're going to put a link in the description as well to our newsletter if you'd like to subscribe.
So we're very excited to see what 2021 has for us. And we want to wish you all
a Happy New Year!